I'm going to take you on a little tour of my studio. This is the walkway to the deck. One of the great things about living in Kingsport when it's not springtime is you have a great view of Bays Mountain and the sunset because my studio faces west. So there's the door that goes upstairs. And this side of the studio is where I store my paintings. So doors to the deck. And of course this side is where I paint. Sometimes do figure drawings, have models in here, do private lessons, painting lessons. What I think is probably one of the coolest things in my studio are these palettes, which at some point about 25 years ago used to be cookie sheets, and they are about 10 inches thick now. So if you can just kind of see my hand as a reference, this is a really thick dried up paint, and I use gesso for white paint. I get these quarts of acrylic paint, different palette knives that I use for mixing and also putting marks down. And then different brushes. Some of these I've had since college. Some big ones. Then in the back, some smaller ones, and then just kind of house painter brushes. This is where I sit. There's my sketchbook. I always write down the number, the size, the date, a little description about what it's about. Just kind of pan out. Some artwork on the wall. And then this big wooden box my father-in-law built off just a little sketch, and it holds about 70 paintings. And then for the big canvases, I used the wood. I used the wood wall for like 4 by 6 feet, and I used that. I've got some screws on it, and I'll use that as the easel. But for something smaller, like this one's 3 by 4, I'll just put it on the easel, which my father-in-law built that, and he builds all my stretchers. So very fortunate to marry Jamie, whose dad is great at carpentry work, among other things. So here's some stretchers here in the corner. So this is what he does. So those are 3 by 4 foot stretchers. And then I buy big rolls of canvas and stretch them. So this is my space, best part of the house. And then you just kind of go out the studio into probably one of the best things about Kingsport, which is the nature, the trees, the light, the mountains we have, the rivers, waterfalls. Just a pretty impressive place to be. In this house we call the tree house is kind of like a little cabin. It's really close, 5 minutes from Dobbins Bennett where I teach, but it feels like you're in the middle of the woods because you can't really see a lot of neighbors. So there's the studio. This is where I spend many hours, and I don't take a day of it for granted. Hope you enjoy.